John's story is one of resilience and determination. Growing up in poverty, he faced a series of challenges that would have broken many people. But John refused to give up. Even when he found himself homeless at just 16 years old, he refused to let his circumstances define him. Instead, he made a decision to take control of his life and work towards a better future. John's childhood was far from easy. He grew up in a small apartment with his parents and two younger siblings. Money was always tight, and John's parents struggled to make ends meet. They worked long hours at low-paying jobs just to put food on the table. Despite the challenges, John was a bright and determined young man. He worked hard in school and dreamed of going to college to study business. But those dreams were shattered when his parents died in a car accident. With no family or friends to turn to, John found himself alone and homeless. He had to fend for himself on the streets, relying on his wits and his survival instincts to get by. He begged for spare change, searched for scraps of food in dumpsters, and slept wherever he could find shelter. Life was hard, but John refused to give up. He knew that he had to take control of his situation if he wanted to create a better future for himself. He started to look for work, doing odd jobs for anyone who would hire him. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Despite his best efforts, however, John found it difficult to escape the cycle of poverty. He was constantly struggling to make ends meet, and he often went hungry for days at a time. But he refused to let his circumstances defeat him. He kept pushing forward, determined to find a way out of his situation. In the face of adversity, John's determination and resilience shone through. He knew that he had the ability to create a better life for himself, and he refused to let anything stand in his way. John had been homeless for several months, struggling to survive on the streets. He had been doing odd jobs here and there, but the pay was meager, and it wasn't enough to get him out of his situation. John was beginning to lose hope. But one day, everything changed. John had been sitting on a park bench, feeling defeated, when a kind-hearted stranger approached him. The stranger struck up a conversation with John, asking him about his life and his situation. As they talked, the stranger learned about John's struggles and his dreams of a better life. Moved by John's determination, the stranger offered him a job at a local restaurant. The pay was minimal, but it was enough to get John off the streets and into his own apartment. John couldn't believe his luck. He had been living on the streets for so long that he had almost forgotten what it was like to have a roof over his head. The idea of having his own apartment was almost too good to be true. But John wasn't about to let this opportunity slip through his fingers. He started working at the restaurant the very next day, throwing himself into his work with everything he had. He was determined to prove himself to his new boss and to show that he was capable of anything. The job wasn't easy. John worked long hours, washing dishes, cleaning tables, and doing whatever else needed to be done. But he never complained. He was just grateful to have a job and a place to call home. As time went on, John began to feel more confident. He was learning new skills and making friends with his coworkers. For the first time in months, he felt like his life was moving in the right direction. The job at the restaurant was a turning point for John. It was the first step on a long journey towards a better life. And it was all thanks to the kindness of a stranger who had seen something special in John and believed in his ability to succeed. Working at the restaurant had given John a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just surviving, he was thriving. As he gained more experience in the restaurant industry, he began to develop a passion for cooking. He loved experimenting with different flavors and creating new dishes. John's passion for cooking soon turned into a business idea. He realized that there was a gap in the market for high-quality, affordable catering services. So, he decided to take a leap of faith and start his own catering business. Using his savings, John purchased a food truck and began selling his creations at local events. It was a risky move, but John was confident in his abilities and his passion for cooking. He worked hard to create a unique menu that would appeal to a wide range of customers. At first, business was slow. John struggled to attract customers, and he often went home with unsold food. But he refused to give up. He knew that success would only come with hard work and determination. So, John kept experimenting with new dishes and refining his menu. He also began to market his business more aggressively, using social media and word of mouth to attract new customers. Slowly but surely, his business began to grow. As John's reputation grew, so did his business. He started getting more and more bookings for events, from small private parties to large corporate events. He also began to hire staff to help him with the catering business. Before long, John's food truck had become a fixture at local events. People would line up for hours to try his delicious creations. And it wasn't long before John's success caught the attention of the local media. Newspapers and magazines began featuring John's story, calling him a rising star in the catering industry. And it wasn't just the media that was taking notice. John's business was growing so fast that he soon realized he needed to expand. He opened a small restaurant, serving the same delicious dishes that had made his food truck so popular. And it wasn't long before the restaurant became a hit with locals and tourists alike. John's rise to success had been a long and difficult journey. But he had never given up, even when things seemed impossible. He had worked hard, taken risks, and followed his passion. And it had all paid off in the end. Today, John's catering business is a huge success, and he is known throughout the region as a talented chef and a savvy entrepreneur. Today, John is the CEO of a successful restaurant empire. His business has grown to include multiple restaurants, a catering division, and even a line of food products sold in grocery stores across the country. He employs hundreds of people and is known throughout the industry as a visionary leader and a talented chef. Looking back on his journey from homelessness to CEO, John is amazed at how far he has come. He knows that his success is due to his determination and hard work, as well as the support of the people who believed in him along the way. John has never forgotten where he came from. Despite his success, he continues to give back to the community that helped him when he was down. He works with local charities to provide meals for the homeless and support for those who are struggling. For John, giving back is not just a way to help others, it's also a way to stay grounded and connected to his roots. He knows that he wouldn't be where he is today without the kindness of strangers and the support of his community. John's story is an inspiring reminder that with hard work and determination, anyone can overcome even the most difficult of circumstances and achieve their dreams. His journey from homelessness to CEO is a testament to the power of resilience, passion, and the belief that anything is possible if you're willing to work for it.